I honestly do not encourage startup pitching to investors, to be very honest. I mean, my belief is that startups do not need to pitch to investors. Now, you honestly, as a startup founder or an entrepreneur, do not need investors' funds. So there's no need to pitch to an investor. As an entrepreneur, one thing you don't want to do is borrow money to start or run your business. Trust me. I am not against borrowing, and I'm not saying that borrowing is wrong. However, I know that there is a better way instead of borrowing, right? Because if you borrow funds, literally, your mind is not going to be at rest. And that's the last thing you want as a startup entrepreneur because you need peace in your mind, you need peace in your heart so that you can conveniently run your business. You can stay focused. Nothing is running after you, pursuing you, right? You're focused on running your business and growing the business. So your question will probably be, what is the alternative to borrowing money? I honestly do not encourage startup pitching to investors, to be very honest. I mean, my belief from my background, where I come from, I mean, when I mean where I come from, I mean my entrepreneurial journey, right, is that startups do not need to pitch to investors. Now, getting investors funding is important, it is good, and I highly encourage it, but not in the face of the ideation, launching, or growing stages in business development. You certainly need investors' funds to scale, right? Which is the highest level of business development, scaling. But in the first three levels, ideation, launching, growing, you honestly, as a startup founder or an entrepreneur, do not need investors' funds. So there's no need to pitch to an investor. And again, you don't have to borrow money. So you'll be like, hey, dude, so what are you talking about? How are we going to grow our business? Now, the idea or the original design for businesses to grow is to bootstrap. And what is bootstrapping? Self-funding. But hold on, I get it. The ideology of bootstrapping, self-funding the business is kind of, it's not working because first of all, I don't have enough funds to put in the business. Where am I going to get $100,000 to run my business? Where am I going to get $200,000, $500,000? That's a lot of money. Where am I going to get it to run my business? Right? And then you'll be like, well, even if I have it and I put it, it's just going to probably grow for a while. And where am I going to get the next funding to put into my business to grow my business? So what's the alternative to pitching to an investor for funding or going to the bank to borrow money? Now, the fact is this, bootstrapping is still the best way. The only thing is that the way we thought about bootstrapping is different from what it is now. And so many people don't know how to bootstrap, like the new way of bootstrapping. Yes, bootstrapping is self-funding, but who says the money has to come from your pocket? Exactly. When I started out a couple of years ago, as when I started my company a couple of years ago as a co-founder, I had a founder. We both started a company. We were literally bootstrapping our business and we were paying funds from our pocket. Guess what? The business failed. Like literally, I woke up one morning and my co-founder had sent me an email and she said she was quitting because she couldn't do it anymore. She don't think she can keep using her funds to grow the business. Right? I'm like, oh, oh my God, you're leaving me on the sea. But again, it's okay. Now, what we do right now is we are bootstrapping, but we're not using, I mean, I'm not using my own personal funds, and none of our team members are using their funds to grow our business. What we're literally doing is we are self-generating funds to grow our business, which means, yes, we are raising funds. But we're not raising funds from investors, we're not raising funds from the bank, we're not raising funds from angel investor, venture capital, and name it. We are raising funds from within our company. We're using product and our services to raise funds. And that is the most effective way to bootstrap your business. There are so many reasons and so many benefits of doing it that way. First of all, you can raise unlimited funds. Now, what is unlimited fund? If you go to an investor to pitch to an investor, the investor will tell you, well, you need $100,000, but I can only give you $10,000. And for this 10K, I want XYZ equity in exchange, right? And that means the entrepreneur is losing control to the investor for investing 10K. But guess what? But remember, the entrepreneur needs 100K, and the investor is saying, you know what, for the level you have, for the things you say you want to do, I think you need 10K, and I can only give 10K. Now, if the entrepreneur actually needs 100K, then that means he has to go meet another investor, pitch to the investor to probably get another maybe 10, 15, 20K. And that is how he goes about pitching to several investors until he raises his $100,000 that he needs. And guess what? For every investor that is giving him money, is giving up equity. What does that mean? He's gradually losing control. We've seen instances where founders who are CEOs of their own company that they founded ended up being kicked out as CEO, and the board appoints someone else to be CEO. I mean, just imagine that. That was literally what happened to Steve Jobs. Anyway, so now the thing is this: what is the alternative? Now, I like to play the game of not going to the investor, instead attracting the investor coming to me, right? And sometime last year we needed funds, and I felt like, you know what, let me talk to someone who I probably can just get the funds from. And I called a friend of mine, like, hey bro, I need XYZ, can you loan me this fund? And he was like, well, I can, but these are my conditions. And I was like, what? Not quite suitable. I was like, okay, it's fine, keep your funds. Guess what? We wanted to acquire a business as at that time when I needed the fund. But I thought to myself, like, dude, you are an advocate of bootstrapping. You're a bootstrap consultant. What's wrong with you? Do something. Do it, the thing you know how to do. And that was exactly what we did. And just last month here, we acquired the business without any capital investment from an investor, angel investor, or even borrowing money from bank or anywhere. We did it 100% from within. So which means that this strategy is actually working. You just need to know how to use it. So if you're an entrepreneur, my recommendation is do not borrow funds. Instead, learn how to raise funds from within your business using your product and service. It's quite really easy if you know how to do it. If you know how to do it, it's easy. If you don't know how to do it, it's going to be difficult. But this is what I have done. I have created an ebook where I explain the step-by-step process of how we have been able to run our business and still growing our business as a private equity company without receiving funding or investment from any investor, venture capital firm, pension funds, angel investors, or borrowing from the bank or anyone. Right? So if you want to learn how we're doing it, our strategy that we're using to grow our private equity business, simply type the word fund, F-U-N-D, in the comment section, and then I'll send you the ebook completely free. My name is Wale Adebayo. Cheers.